This week we go well beyond the huddle and into the living room of Duke starting center Matt Skura. Last spring he proposed to his longtime girlfriend Emma Ellis and she accepted. I sat down with the couple to find out more about their engagement. Where did your story really begin?
Began my junior year of high school, his sophomore year of high school. He asked me to prom. All my friends used to tease me when I was in high school being like, you need to go to a dance with Matt Skura. And I was like, ew, no, not somebody younger. And then I got to know him and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll actually go with him. And the rest is just kind of history.
Did you have your eyes on her from day one?
Maybe not from day one. I really just didn't know her. Just being new to the school, I just moved there my freshman year of high school. And, my older brother hung out with the same friends as her, and so I'd like to hang out with him. And kind of through our mutual friends, my older brother's girlfriend is her best friend. And so we kind of met through that way. And as more got to hang out with her and her friends, I think that's when I started to like her and for who she was.
Emma, I've heard that you actually introduced Matt to the idea of Duke. It was a little foreign to him initially. How did that happen?
Well, I've always been an avid Duke fan. I grew up loving Duke. My parents joke that I was born with a Duke sweatshirt on. And so when he and I started dating, we never really talked about my extreme love for Duke, but I had come down here the week before Duke had played Butler in the national championship, and I had gotten him a t-shirt that said Duke football. I'm like, he's, a football player, he's gonna go through the recruiting process. So I got him this t-shirt thinking, okay, this will be great. I'm so excited to give it to him. Comes over the night of the Butler Duke game. I give him the t-shirt. He rolls his eyes and is like, ugh, Duke football. And I got really upset. Watched the game, I started crying because he was so adamant about rooting for Butler and didn't really understand my deep love for the school. And so that's kind of how I introduced him to Duke.
So I guess it's gotten better from there. Matt finally saw the light.
I just didn't know anything about Duke. During my recruiting, I never looked at any schools in the South. All my recruiting came from mostly the Midwest and East Coast, so I kind of put my blinders on in that sense. And it's just kind of funny how things worked out in the long run.
I came down here with him on his recruiting visit, and I just kind of knew. I was like, this is where he belongs. I was showing him around. And then when he did get the offer, we went back to my grandparents who live in the area, and I said, look, football doesn't last forever. And if you want to have a career in the medical field after college, if football doesn't pan out, why would you not go to Duke? And I told him that I would be supportive every step of the way. I already knew I was going to Dayton, and we just made it work, and I was thrilled.
With Emma at Dayton and Matt at Duke, the two high school sweethearts from Ohio had to navigate a long-distance relationship for a couple of years. Despite the mileage between them, Emma still found her way to the stadium to watch Matt play all but 2 games in his first year as a starter last season. I know Emma comes from a big football family. She knows the game pretty well. Is she your toughest critic when you get home after a tough win or a rough loss?
I would say so for sure. I think she asked 100 questions as soon as I walk out of the football center. What happened on this play? Were you getting trash talked or something? How were the other team? Any question you can imagine, she usually asks.
Do you ever give them tips?
I stay away from tips. I do ask questions as to what happened on what play. And, if somebody got hurt, I ask if they're okay. If false starts happen, I go, what happened there? So I would say pretty openly that I am probably his harshest critic, but I also know how good he can be and what his potential is. So I like to push that a little bit, which I think he does with me too. So
the pressure's on.
Exactly.
So let's get to a part that everybody's been talking about since March, really, and that's your proposal to Emma, Matt, and your engagement. Tell us the story. We're all very curious to hear how it went down.
Emma and I obviously been talking about getting engaged for quite a long time, and Emma would always randomly send me pictures of these beautiful wedding rings, like 10-carat wedding rings.
No, no, not that big.
But just kind of a little bit of a constant reminder. And so she worked at a jewelry store in Columbus for quite a while. So I kind of had a good connection that way to know I can trust where to get the ring. I know it'll be great quality. So she was getting ready for the day. I was trying to make coffee. I screwed it up the first time. I think that was the first time I've ever made coffee in my life. So she helped me out, went back into the bathroom just right over here. And I was like, you know what? If not now, never. So I go in front of the bathroom door where it was closed, and I'm like, Emma, can you just come help me with the coffee one more time? I think I screwed it up again. She's like, oh, fine, whatever. Opens up the door, and I was just down on one knee. And that's kind of what happened. It was kind of the perfect moment, kind of perfect timing.
I had just put on mascara, and as girls know, if you just put on mascara and your eyes start watering, you can't actually see. So I couldn't see the ring or anything. Once I stopped crying and could see it, but more importantly, I think it's just the excitement of getting to spend forever with him, because I love him so much that really a ring doesn't matter, and neither does the place that you get engaged. Everyone kind of builds it up. I think Pinterest has really ruined a lot of women's and young women's minds as to what a proposal is supposed to look like, and it was perfect.
Emma now works in advertising in the Triangle, and Matt has another year and a half of Duke football ahead of him, so the two won't tie the knot until the summer of 2016. They have, however, started a family with the addition of a yellow Labrador named Lily.
We got Lily in June. She's almost 6 months old, and she has been so much fun. I've always wanted a dog ever since I was little, and a yellow lab was always what I wanted. And so now that we finally have one, it's been like the best thing.
It was a little bit of a sporadic decision. It's always something new every day, but I think it's definitely been fun.